Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, A Chickener Homestead. We are going to be getting some seeds started for Zone 5 today. I was a little bit late. I already did onions and my hot peppers, and right today I'm going to be doing my tomatoes. I also have some greens, lettuce, and a bunch of basil and kale. My dogs are going to be out in the background, so don't mind them. I do have a bunch of different tomatoes. I really want to focus on canning this year. I went back and forth between following the seed packet and following what other Zone 5 people were planting their tomatoes. The seed packet can say anywhere from like 10 to like 6 weeks. I started them around this time last year and they did fine. They produced a lot, so I'll just start them again the same time this year. Like I said, because that's what most Zone 5 gardeners do, so I'd rather do that than follow the seed packet. I'm planting about 72 tomatoes this year, 150 onions, a lot of basil, a lot of kale. I'm doing that. It's much more than I would need for me and my family, but I'm doing that because I've been reading companion planting books. I got this one from the library. It's Companion Planting by Dale Meyer. I definitely recommend it. This one right now is my favorite book. This is not like affiliated or anything. I literally just picked it up from the library, but it is super helpful. It goes plant by plant, and it tells you the parameters of when it should be planted and what is a good companion plant, what's not a good companion plant. And then I also even went as far, I went to Family Dollar and I got a big poster board and I started laying out my garden and the companion plants to go with it. I really don't want to go overboard this year because that's usually where my failure is. I try to do too much. So I'm really scaling it down this year, and whatever I don't plant in my garden, I'm going to be selling at the farmer's market. I got this big tub from Home Depot. I think it was like $7, and I put all my soil in there and I mix it up. And I actually fill my cells up in here and then transplant them and then put the seeds in so I don't make a mess, because I will make a mess everywhere. I can post a link and show you guys what I use for seed cell trays. Once again, no affiliation, but I highly recommend them. They're reusable, they're very durable, easy to clean, and I have 10 of these, and I'm probably going to be buying more this year in preparation for next year. So first, let me just go over the tomatoes that I'm planting. Mexican midget tomatoes, I'm doing 6 of those. The mini spoon tomatoes from Baker Creek, I'll be doing 6 of those. There's no picture on this, but this is the Ananas Noir from Baker Creek. It's called a pineapple tomato. I want to try that out this year. A lot of Amish paste, Roma tomatoes, San Marzano tomatoes, Hungarian heart, and some beefsteak. I'm doing all these because, like I said, I really want to do a lot of canning this year and preserving, so I'm doing good canning and preserving tomatoes. Besides the little ones, I'll use those for salads, and the Romas, I'll probably do that for tacos because we have tacos about once a week. I love tacos, and there's nothing like fresh tomatoes. Nothing. If you haven't had them, grow your own tomatoes. Do it in a container, throw some seeds outside, just try some. They're really good. So I usually just take one of these, I create a small area, and I lay it down. I won't do this for all of these because that would be a very long video, but I'll just show you usually what I do. I press down a little bit because when I water these, I don't want them to sink in on themselves. Push it down a little bit. And then from there, I'm going to get my tomato seeds. And I'm gonna put 2 seeds in each cell. The germination rate is usually pretty good. I had everything come up in the cells pretty much last year. But it takes a long time to grow tomatoes, so I want to make sure that I have enough that I planned for. So I'm going to do 2 in each so I have a better chance of making sure at least one pops up. And a lot of times these seeds aren't very expensive, so throwing 2 in isn't really going to make a huge deal. So after that, I put the seed back in there and I cover it up. I don't tamp it down very hard, I just cover it up. And there you go. There it is. One thing I skipped a step on, and I'm very notorious at doing this, labeling. So I should have labeled before I started, but I usually just take some tape, and these are the Mexico Midget. Mexico Midget, and I just write it there. Pull the tape off, and then I'll throw it right at the top here, just so it doesn't get all soggy or wet when I go to bottom water. It's very important to label. I have been notorious for not labeling and just going, yeah, I'll remember, and then I do not remember. I remember nothing. So make sure you label everything. So I'm actually going to stop the video and probably fast forward so I can label all of these really quick. All right, so we are done planting. We got our 72 tomatoes planted out. Took probably about 10 minutes. I just washed my hands, and now I'm going to wrap the top of this in plastic wrap. Some people use domes that go over it. I couldn't find any for these specific trays, so I just use plastic wrap. I buy this at the dollar store. So let me see. This is not my favorite part. Gonna grab one of the edges. And then pull it over. You only want to put it like halfway so there's enough over the edges that you can crinkle it up. So I'll do that and then just cut across. It's already getting screwed up. It's easier when you have a second person to help. But then I'll just crinkle this up here so it doesn't move. And it keeps all the humidity in here. And after I'm done this, I'll show you. You can see the humidity popping up on the top there. And then you just want to do another and overlap that about halfway. Extend it a bit and cut another section. What this is going to do is going to create like a humid environment, and it'll keep feed the seeds that water and give it enough moisture so that they can germinate. Once you see stuff popping up through the top, that is the point when I would take this off, because they're about ready to go and they don't need that anymore, but then they will require watering and fertilizing. Tomatoes, you usually want to start 6 to 10 weeks before your last frost, and I typically don't like to put anything out until after, I think it's Memorial Day weekend or Mother's Day weekend. It's May 15th. But let me show you what the top of this is looking like so that you can see that there's moisture in there. So I have a whole bunch of seeds. It's all splayed out, all books that I got from the library, my seed holder, and then my other trays I have over here. But you can see these lines right here. That's the moisture, and it's being kept in. So I have this all set. This is my Zone 5 tomato planting. And I am going to also do my basil and my lettuces. And actually, you know, let me show you my plants that I already did. This is my spare bedroom that I have. I have some mealworms growing in here for the chickens, and this is where I just have some extra trays and all my supplies. I set up my lights here, and here I have my hot peppers, my chili peppers going. I started them, I think, last week, and then I also have onions here and here. You can see the moisture, maybe. There you go. You can see the moisture up top there. So these probably won't start popping up for a few more days. You guys are from Zone 5. Let me know when you guys plant your tomatoes, how long you've been doing it, if you've been successful, things that you've noticed works or does not work for you. And even if you're not in Zone 5, I'd love to hear where you're from and what you do with your tomatoes and what tomatoes you like planting, because I'm always open to trying another type of tomato.